Steve gets here, he can join us, all right? You guys ready? We'll get started. Steve will join us.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's on his way, but he's gonna be problem parking, so.
okay, no problem.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, we will call to order tonight's meeting of the Rocky Hill Board of Education, March 9th, 2023, 7 p.m. in the Rocky Hill Town Hall Council Chambers. This meeting will be live streamed to the Rocky Hill Public Schools website. If everyone can please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good evening, everyone. We would like to start tonight's meeting with a moment of special recognition for some Rocky Hill High School students. I am going to turn the floor over to Dr. Zito at the podium. Dr. Zito.
Thank you, Mr. Dillon. Mr. Fode, can you come up and join me? We're very pleased to honor two of our high school students this evening for some very impressive accomplishments. So first I'd like to call Mukta Ramesh up. Come on up here. So Mukta was selected as the 2023 Connecticut winner of the Award for Aspirations in Computing. So she's done a great job with Ms. Brzezowski. She's a leader in technology, and we're really proud of your efforts. Congratulations. I'd also like Alyssa Gao to come up here. My notes here on you, Alyssa. Alyssa is a national semifinalist for the National Honor Society Scholarship. She's one of only 575 students across the country that is getting a scholarship in the amount of $3,200. So we're very proud of both of you. These are great achievements, and we look forward to great things to come in the future. Mr. Fode, any comments on these?
I just want to say that I'm very fortunate to have such talented students at our school, and I appreciate all you do to support our community. So thank you again.
We have a certificate for you here, in recognition of your accomplishment.
Very nice.
And looked good for you as well. Great job. Congratulations. Thank you, Mr. Dillon.
Just on behalf of the board, I'd like to congratulate both of you on your incredible accomplishments. Job well done. Thank you. Good job. All right, we will continue tonight with item 3, audience participation, meeting open to the public. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to address the board? I was waiting, Mr. Kosker. I was waiting.
Just giving everyone else a chance to come up, that's all. Tom Kosker, 52 Tall Pines Lane. Not a whole lot to say tonight, but I did want to recognize one of our board members, which some of you may or may not know this. And actually, it turns out it made the news.
Oh, it did?
Last night, somehow. My mom told me she saw it on the news. So Jessica Lafredo and a number of advocates went up to the Capitol Wednesday, for an
like a blur.
Epilepsy Advocacy Day. And Jessica's been working pretty hard over the last months plus, to advance a bill at state legislature about seizure-safe schools. I don't know, some of you might have heard about this, but the public probably didn't. Hopefully there'll be some press about it in the coming months and weeks, but to look to get trained, to get staff and educators trained on dealing with epilepsy. And having a son with epilepsy myself, I was up there with my family. We were part of the effort. It was an awesome day. We had really good success. It's not like totally done. There's a long way to go, but we had a really good step the other day, and Jess has been amazing in her efforts. So on behalf of everyone in our community, thank you, Jess. And I just wanted to publicly recognize her to the board. Hope I didn't steal any thunder if you were planning on reporting that, but I know she's pretty humble, so she wouldn't be saying a whole lot.
That was item 2 on my
Item 2 on your list. I'm
report,
sure it
Mr.
was.
Kosker.
So I try to beat you to it. But so anyway, that's all.
It is wonderful news. Job well done, Jessica.
Thank you.
Anyone else here tonight that would like to address the board? All right, moving on. We do not have any representatives from the high school tonight, so we are going to move on to Mosier School.
Good evening. Good evening, board members and the Rocky Hill community. My name is Annabelle Diaz, and I'm the principal at Mosier School. I am honored to be here this evening to present to you two outstanding young ladies representing Mosier this evening. These students exemplify leadership qualities each and every day. Please welcome Ayla Francis and Ananya Pisu to the podium.
Hi, my name's Ayla Francis, and I'm a fifth grader at Mosier School. Hello, I'm Ananya Pisu, and also a fifth grader at Mosier.
The screen has to go. Okay. Once it comes on, and we start playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, my name is Ayla Francis, and I'm a fifth grader at Mosier School. Hello, I'm Ananya Pisu, and I'm also a fifth grader at Mosier. We are so excited to talk to you about what we've been up to this year. We are so excited to have the opportunity to create relationships with our school resource officers and the Rocky Hill Police Department through our Color with a Cop program. We love to ask the police officers questions about what they do. Our fifth grade students and Mrs. Stevens put on an unforgettable show for their winter choir concert. This wall was decorated by our staff to represent their personalities. The students thought it was pretty funny to see when we walked down the hallway in the morning. Our school's resource officer, Officer Baker, held a coloring contest. He and a few other faculty members chose the top 10 coloring pages that they thought were the best. Those students were able to choose a gift from Officer Baker. The Rocky Hill High School's Red Cross Club came to teach our fourth graders the importance of emergency preparedness. This was a part of our fourth grade science unit on weather. Our first book fair really brought reading to life. We sold $3,807.16 worth of books. We were also happy to have Scholastic back in our school. Every 3 months, students are selected to be honored as top students. Dr. Diaz has also started a program called the Roaring Raptors. This program works with students to enhance the school's overall academic efforts and environment. They work closely with Mr. Eric Crawford, the district's diversity consultant. Two of our fifth grade students were recognized by Mrs. Shearer and Mrs. Stevens for their excellent work in art and music. They got to go to AquaTurf to celebrate and have a taco dinner. For our Kindness Week this year, we showed our love for our school by writing hearts to our staff. We wrote to our teachers, custodians, lunch ladies, and even our bus drivers. On Thursday, we dressed up as twins to celebrate friendship. Even the teachers were twinning. To celebrate Black History Month, fourth grade students were asked to read quotes from Martin's Big Words and make notes on how those quotes have affected them and the world around them. We also learned about Jackie Robinson, Rosa Parks, and Ruby Bridges. We are so excited to celebrate Read Across America Day with Malcolm Mitchell, former Patriots player, now author. He even brought along a magician. Thank you, Mrs. Spain, for being such a good sport and magician's assistant. Mosher is honored to have ranked number 2 in our DIRGE group for our standardized testing scores. The students at Mosher showed significant growth in our ELI SBAC testing. Due to our incredible abilities, the state of Connecticut gave us a School of Distinction honor. This was a team effort. Thank you to the teachers, students, and families for all their hard work. Although our school year has been packed with fun activities, we aren't done yet. Here's what we have coming up: Future Chef Challenge, Yard Goats, Student Art Show, and Spring Choir Concert. We also have the Field Day, Band Concert, Junior Achievement, and the 5th grade picnic. We are so excited to see what the end of the year has in store. Thank you for another year full of exciting activities at Mosher.
Thank you. Great report. Great report.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we will move on to agenda item number 4. We have approval of minutes, February 16th, 2023 Board of Education meeting, February 23, 2023 Board of Education School Safety Committee meeting, and February 23, 2023 Board of Education special meeting. Any requests for any edits, corrections, or deletions to the minutes? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Manella, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Tucker. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0. Thank you. Correspondence, Dr. Zito.
No correspondence.
No correspondence. All right, consent calendar. Item 6, approval to direct the superintendent to submit the school security competitive grant program application. Would anyone like this item removed from the consent calendar? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Rolfe, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Morphia? Sorry, I didn't hear who said it. I didn't hear who said it.
She did.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0. Thank you. All right, committee reports. Item 7, curriculum, Ms. Tucker. We can go through this, and then we'll go to old business because we'll have budget. Yep.
The curriculum meeting has not met since last meeting.
Okay, and I think we're going to talk about scheduling a meeting in the near future. Facilities, Mr. Gavin.
We have not had a meeting since our last Board of Ed meeting, and we are looking to have one in the next month.
All right. Finance, Ms. Tucker.
The committee itself has not met, but we've been discussing the budget a lot.
Very often, and again tonight, correct. P&N, Mr. Gavin.
We haven't met.
I think we have one upcoming contract, Dr. Zito, right?
Yeah, I think the teacher's contract will start in the late summer.
Yeah.
Policy, Mr. Slattery is not here. I do not believe policy met, correct?
Yeah, not.
Didn't meet.
Monday.
Within 3 weeks.
I know, this because it's a short meeting, you're right. Special education, we did not meet, we had a special meeting. I do believe Mr. Slattery was talking about scheduling something. Correct counsel, Mr. Desai.
Nothing to report. It's scheduled for next week.
Yeah, I know, we're early this week, so that's the reason why we just met. School Safety Committee, Mr. Slattery, we just met February 23rd. I do not believe he scheduled another meeting. All right. We'll move these down. And old business, we do not have any, correct, Dr. Zito?
That's correct.
All right, so before we continue on with new business, I will entertain a motion for a 5-minute recess. If people would like to depart, we usually do not have so many visitors, so we understand that. I'll entertain a motion for a 5-minute recess.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Tucker, second by Ms. Manella. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 8-0. We'll take a 5-minute recess.
You guys go home and do your homework now.
We usually don't have visitors. We're not used to this many people.
Visitors can stay.
You're more than welcome if you want to.
Lucky if you can find a parking spot.
We'd already discussed the change to the office furniture being removed from the budget. Will help with the furniture through the CIP. We added the microscopes, and then per the last conversation we had at the most recent meeting, we added $75,000 in for the expansion of the Dream Academy, with the corresponding offset in tuition. So you're still at 4.8. The number is $52,166,000. You have a special meeting scheduled for Monday to adopt your budget. You do need to adopt it that evening to meet the timeline in the town charter. My understanding from you, Mr. Dillon, is you're going to open this up for discussion. Yep. We can make any adjustments you want to. Certainly Friday or over the weekend, if you have any other ideas or questions, email Chuck and myself, and we're happy to come back on Monday and make any additional adjustments. At the end of the day, we make the recommendations. It's your budget as a board that you need to adopt. Understanding that once you make that adoption, we convey that to the council. And then in May, they typically will have us come and present late April, early May, and then they'll make a final appropriation, a fiscal appropriation, usually the first or second week of May.
All right. With that being said, based on this, any additional budget proposals from any board members? We are sort of running out of time. So, yes, Ms. Morphia.
My only concern is something I can't stop thinking about since the last meeting is the thing that the IT guy was, what was the, do you know what I'm talking about?
Regarding the sand switches, I do believe there may be a small update on that, right?
Yeah, so what we did is, I was concerned about the redundancy, so we worked with Chris within his budget lines, and I actually approved the purchase today.
Okay, so that is, thank God,
$40,000,
yeah.
So we had
If
to
that
make some
thing fell apart,
adjustments within his
we'd be
budget,
screwed.
but with the fiscal year current fund balance we had, we were able to make it happen.
Perfect, okay.
We did not want that redundancy to leave an exposure.
Yeah, no.
Any other thoughts or budget proposals from any board members? All right. Seeing none, I'm going to ask Dr. Zito then to begin preparing the budget resolutions for Monday's meeting. We will have the opportunity to change them. If anyone does want to make any proposed budget changes that you're aware of over the weekend, please reach out to Dr. Zito so that he can prepare them. A lot of this, if we do make changes, which we have every right to do, is going to become a math exercise for
Which we've done
Dr. Zito and Chuck as we work our way through, but the resolutions do have to be accurate in terms of the funding amount. So we have every right to make those changes. It will just be a slightly slower process because we'll have to continue to recalculate the number and the percentages. That's all. Not a big deal, not insurmountable, but we just need to be prepared for that. So if there's any changes that anyone's aware of or would like to propose for any line items, between now and the weekend, please reach out to Dr. Zito and Chuck so that they can make the appropriate, I guess, hedges in the numbers that we're going to have so they're prepared to calculate everything. All right. One last chance. Any proposed changes, deletions, or edits right now in the budget? Seeing none? All right. We will plan on Monday for adoption, and we will move on to item 16, the Assistant Superintendent for Personnel and Student Services report. Ms. Stevenson.
All right, good evening, everyone. So I have a pretty brief report. Just want to mention this time of year is very busy. Well, it's always busy in the special education department, but we are planning ESY, extended school year, which is a pretty big undertaking. So we've started that. We've hired a coordinator, and we're working on hiring all of the staff. So thank you to all the people that applied. Please, more people apply. We need you. So that's what we've been focusing on. And we're also focusing on planning for next year for our students who, for all of our special education students, but especially our students that are moving from one school to another. So we're really focusing on having staff go and observe students, having those conversations during the PD day on February 17th. Ms. Herman, Special Education Director, and Ms. St. Pierre, our supervisor, met with a number of staff to talk about transition so we could really make sure that as students go from school to school, their services are in place and the communication is there so that it's as smooth as possible. So that's what we've been working on. And then I just wanted to mention that in the last week or so, I've gotten to really be in the schools for some assemblies and some meetings with staff, and people have just been happy and smiling, and I just want to say thanks to all the staff and everything for everything they do, because it's a tough time of year. Winter is just a tough time of year. It's a long stretch until spring, and it was just nice to see the kids and the staff just like really happy and upbeat. So I wanted to mention that. And then as far as the HR piece, all of our certified positions are filled. We still continue to really just have a great retention of staff. I did have to fill out a survey for the state. They wanted to know, every district had to fill it out, wanting to know our vacancies, and I was very happy to indicate that we didn't have any, which is great. So I sent that into the state. And then the last thing I just wanted to report was that this past week, since we have a number of new administrators, I provided a Title IX training to all the staff this week, and I got some good feedback on it, so I think it went well. And that's everything I have to report. So if anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Ms. Stevenson? Ms. Manella?
I have a quick question. Regarding the ESY, are you open to having any high schoolers for volunteer hours to help your staff in the schools this summer, or is it primarily just...
That's a good question, and we often think about that. The concern that we've kind of talked about is the confidentiality piece, because the people working with the kids really need access to the IEPs and the goals and objectives, and that gets a little bit tricky. So that's why we haven't done it. But we might have to work around that if we need more hands. So definitely something that we're considering.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any additional questions for Ms. Stevenson? No. All right. We're going to continue on with item 17, Assistant Superintendent for Finance and Operations. Mr. Zedegren.
As presented every month, you do have a financial report reflecting figures through the month ending February 2023. And again, I have highlighted some of the line items that, as we approach the year end, that we'll be keeping an eye on as we start to go through that closing process. We have received the first installment of our excess cost grant from the state in the amount of $525,000, roughly. This reimbursement will be reflected in the March financial report, which will reduce the current deficit in the tuition account. We will receive our second installment of the excess cost grant at the end of May, which will substantially reduce that deficit overall. We have started working on the security grant application with the board giving us the approval to move forward with that application. So that deadline is April 28th, which we will meet and get it submitted by that date. And that's it for my report this evening.
All right. Any additional questions for Mr. Zedegren? Ms. Manella.
Any updates on the lunch program from the state?
Yeah, so as you know, we are continuing the free lunch process through the end of the year. The legislature did put that in place. There is no answer yet on what's going to happen in the next fiscal year. That's still consumed in the legislative process. So, we don't have any updates at this point in time that I've heard anyway.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Did you have another question?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right. Any additional questions for Mr. Zedegren? Seeing none? Okay. We will move on to the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction. Ms. Listro.
Okay. I will begin by picking up where I left off at our last meeting when I was discussing Read Across America Day. I mentioned that at Griswold Middle School we were having a virtual visit from author Jennifer Nielsen, and I'm happy to report that went extremely, extremely well. She spoke about what it was like to be a writer, and the bulk of her time was answering questions from the students themselves. So that was very widely positively viewed by the students and staff. Your book that I asked you not to open, I think you figured it out. It was a visit from Malcolm Mitchell, former Patriots football player, and he came with an engaging performance by the former magician from the Patriots that he developed a friendship with. So the students got an entire magic show, and then they got to have Malcolm read the book, his own book, with them. And it was very exciting. The students each got a copy, and this whole school was alive and abuzz at Stevens, West Hill, and Mosier on March 2nd. You will see an article forthcoming in the Rare Reminder and Rocky Hill Life talking about those events. The reporters were present, so be looking for that. Yesterday at Rocky Hill High School, we had the Women in Action event that I mentioned to you last month, and that was sponsored by the Girl Up Club and the in collaboration with the Justice for All Club at the high school. And it was a panel of 12 very inspirational women. I know Dr. Zito was in attendance, and Ms. Flynn attended, Mr. LaMontagne, and it was an inspirational event to listen to these women talk to our students about what it's truly like in some of their experiences being a successful women in various careers. So that was very well received as well, and we hope to have it again. As you know from the parking, the Youth Art Month reception, the first one in 4 years with record-breaking attendance. Mr. Schumann led the jazz band, and they were phenomenal, I will say. And students from the advanced baking class served up some culinary treats, and the artwork will remain on display through the end of March. And I did get a parking space early, so I was able to attend. I know a lot of people, Mr. Zedegren was there with me, and Mr. LaMontagne again. It was really well received, and I think, Ms. Tucker, you were there too, right? I saw you.
Yeah.
Oh, missed it. What are the baked goods? I missed out on the baked goods.
They were on the adult side. You had to go all the way over on the other side.
I had no trouble finding the 2 pieces of artwork I had to find.
So if you couldn't get in early because of parking, please stop by. All of the artwork is on display till the end of the month. Switching gears, last week, Mr. Foti reminded parents that next week, the NEAS committee will be at Rocky Hill High School for their accreditation visit. We're expecting that to go very well. SATs are taking place at the high school on March 28th for all of the juniors. The elementary report cards for Stevens, West Hill, and Mosier will be sent home electronically on May 20th. So if parents have trouble accessing it for whatever reason, you do need a code to access it, just contact the school. And then I am pleased to report, last but not least, we have Scott Driscoll, law enforcement officer for about 30 years in Connecticut, focused on youth issues. We are pleased to co-sponsor him with the Youth and Family Services Department with the town. He's presenting to parents on March 23rd at 6 p.m. here in the community center. It's open to the public. We're encouraging all families to attend. And we have also booked him to give presentations at GMS, forthcoming the week after. And we also have a tentative date scheduled in April for the high school. That's it.
Excellent. Any questions for Ms. Listro? A lot going on, all good things. Hearing none, I will turn it over to Dr. Zito.
All right, a couple of quick updates. First of all, March is Board of Education Appreciation Month. So just want to acknowledge all the board members for your work to support public education here in Rocky Hill. We know how much time and effort each of you puts into your position as an elected official. And on behalf of our staff, I want to thank you for everything you do to support us. It's always, March, I think they do it because budgets are being approved. I mean, how many nights you spend with giant books in front of you going through line by line. But I want to recognize Ms. Flynn, our liaison to the board. She ordered you a gift for just a token of our appreciation for all you do. I think you'll appreciate that. Just a reminder that the board will hold a special meeting on March 13th. That's Monday night, 6 o'clock at Mosier. and that's where we're going to adopt the budget. As Mr. Dillon said, we'll prepare motions in advance, but we've done it before. If we've had to adjust the number, it's simply a math exercise, and Chuck and I both have good math skills, so we'll sit there and check each other's work, see who can get the problem solved the fastest, and come in with a precise number. But at this point, you're at 4.8. And again, if you have any ideas or any questions that come up over the weekend, email us. We have till Monday at 6 o'clock for you to really make a final decision on that. And my final announcement is that Mr. Vassell was here about 2 months ago. He enlisted me again to be the scorekeeper at the Harlem Wizards basketball event, which is next Friday, March 17th. This is a fundraiser for the Ed Foundation. Christine, again, is our liaison. They do some really good things for the kids here in Rocky Hill. It's a fun night. We haven't had it because of COVID for a while, so I think people are excited about it. It's going to be next Friday, 7 o'clock. I think Christine left a flyer at your spaces here at the table, so I encourage you to come out. I've been every time they've had it. It's a lot of fun, and the kids really enjoy seeing the teachers get out there and play against these professional basketball players. So look forward to that event, and hopefully you can attend next week.
All right, excellent. Any questions for Dr. Zito? All right, seeing none, we will move on to my report. I'd like to start tonight first by just talking again about, I think, the great special board meeting we had on February 23rd. The technology demonstration with the math department I just thought was so impressive. I wanted to take a moment to once again thank Ms. Listro, Ms. Weaver, her team, and Ms. DeLuca, who was the teacher there giving us the presentation. And I just thought it was so incredible to see the way that the math curriculums evolved in the use of technology in the classroom. And it was all done without a desktop, right, Mr. Gavin? So, but it was just so very impressive. And I just, being on the board for a number of years, I was so happy to see that. And to me, it really showed the investment that this board makes in the schools and the community. So I thought that was a great thing to see. It was just so impressive. Mr. Kosker stole my thunder, but I wanted to take a moment and acknowledge Ms. Lafredo and all her work, and there's bill number 6023 pending for Seizure Safe Schools, and both Dr. Zito and I were included in an email involving both Ms. Lafredo's efforts and work by our state representative, Ms. Wood, and everything they're doing to move this along. I encourage everyone to take a look at it. It's a wonderful endeavor, and it's a wonderful piece of legislation. So hopefully we can all get behind it and support it. And Dr. Zito wants to make a brief comment.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the time. So I called Renee Garahy, our lead nurse, today because I did get an email from Representative Wood, and she's 100% in support of the legislation. So we already do most of the training. The piece we would probably just have to figure out is the informational piece to the kids, but we're doing 95% of this already, but I would like to see it codified in legislation, and Representative Wood is a good advocate for the town. So Renee is a fantastic school nurse, those of you that have dealt with Mrs. Gary, and she's 100% in favor of this, so we support the effort completely.
And just, can I
Go
just
ahead,
say
please,
that
please.
in my meeting yesterday with Representative Jeff Curry, who happens to say hello to you, Dr. Zito, I made sure to let them know that Rocky Hill Public Schools really have checked all the boxes on this legislation. I know that because my son does have a 504 in place for epilepsy. And so I've been down that path along with Mr. Kosker as well. So it is something that's near and dear to our hearts. But I wanted them to know that it can happen in schools, public schools, and that it is happening here. So I thank you for, again, making sure that your staff is trained. I also thank Mrs. Renee Garahy for making sure that her staff is trained. She went above and beyond to make sure that nurses have trainers for epilepsy. They are the nasal sprays that are being used. Was brought to my knowledge that every nurse was given one so that they can train other staff above and beyond what has to be done. So again, thank you for making sure that our students are safe.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, great piece of legislation, and thank you for all your efforts. That's great. Moving on with someone else who stole my report, Miss Listro. I'd also like to thank Miss Listro, Miss Schaefer, and the rest of her team as well for the incredible Read Across America Day in Rocky Hill. I just think that was an incredible sight to see. Once again, you know, New England Patriots star Malcolm Mitchell was here with his team, and he spent time at Mosier, Stevens, and West Hill with the kids to celebrate the event, and I've heard nothing but great things about it through the community. So kudos again, Ms. Listro, to you and your team. What a great event that was. The last two things I'd just like to mention are, you know, there are all great things going on in Rocky Hill, and the next one involves Miss Lafredo as well. I guess she's everywhere. We're looking to start a composting initiative, and Rocky Hill resident Ed Ciccarello reached out to Dr. Zito and myself, and it looks like Miss Listro will be talking to Miss Tucker in a future curriculum committee meeting. We'll be talking about this composting initiative, and I believe the town got a grant from DEEP for it, and we're going to try to partner with them on this, and I think it's a great initiative. There's also an environmental club in the high school, so I think all the pieces come together, so I think it's something wonderful for the board to take part of and starting to move forward on. The last thing I just want to mention is last Wednesday I was at a wonderful unified sports event in Glastonbury where our Rocky Hill team was playing in a basketball tournament sponsored by Glastonbury Public Schools, and I just wanted to take a moment to thank Ms. Bergeron and her team in running the unified sports program and for everything they do. It was a great event to see those kids out there playing. They had a great day, so it was a wonderful thing to see. With that, our meeting is over for tonight, and I know that Monday will be budget adoption. Please circle back with Dr. Zito if you have any other questions or any proposals you'd like him to look at, so we can be prepared to adopt the budget resolutions on Monday night. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion from Ms. Tucker. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Ms. Manella. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0. Have a great evening, everyone.
You too.